Tottenham TV. Tottenham are in the semi-finals of the Europa League, another semi-final of a European competition. First time since 2019. And I am absolutely buzzing after last night. I'm here with Brian Daigle. Watched the game together last night. We're in a watch-along at the Grosvenor Casino. Met the great Martin Jol yesterday. What a great night it was last night, Brian, wasn't it?
It was a magnificent night, wasn't it? Martin Jol was in great form. Got to watch the game. Brilliant setting that they gave us. Massive screen TV. A very, very professional performance by Tottenham Hotspur, led by Postecoglou. And like you said, we are through to a semi-final of a European Cup.
A European, not
the European, not the Champions League, but of a European competition.
And you know what? Like, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? The performance that the team put in yesterday. I feel like that was for the fans last night. Everyone that's had to struggle all the way through this season, particularly the match-going fans, the guys that went there last night to Frankfurt, the guys that have been going week in, week out all season. We just so desperately needed a night like that, didn't we? Not even just fans, just for any general Spurs fan that's just been suffering all season.
Yep, everywhere around the world, people getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning or staying up stupid o'clock at night to, to watch us. We were saying before, weren't we, that if there's a Manchester City performance in us, boy, do we need it to stay now. It might not have been as free-flowing or as exciting as the Man City, but boy, the boys dug deep, and we got a very, very, very good performance from them.
Absolutely, and those are the performances that you can really cling on to, and when you're looking at, playing Bodo in the next round, if we beat them, we go and play Bilbao or Manchester United in the final. That's a performance where you can actually see light at the end of the tunnel, saying, look, this competition is actually there for the taking now. Like, I didn't have the belief before this game. I really didn't. I thought we were going to get beaten by Frankfurt last night, and how wrong was I? I didn't think we had that kind of gritty performance in us, but I think there was 11 Warriors on that pitch yesterday. More if you want to include the substitutes as well. I think everyone just fought for the badge, fought for themselves, fought for the manager, fought for the fans. It was just unbelievable to see, and now I'm brimming with confidence in this competition, and I genuinely think we can go all the way.
Well, it's only 2 games away from the final now, isn't it? So anything can happen. But what I loved about yesterday is you see Romero and Van der Ven. We know we're going to talk in more depth about how good they were, but you didn't see them marauding up front and out of position. Every man stuck to their position, apart from that one point when Porro was on the left. None of them were out of position. They stayed in their kind of set places. It was just such a discipline. We kept using the word gritty yesterday, didn't we? It was a gritty, professional, determined, hard-fought performance. And we always say, like, you give 9s and 10s and whatever it may be. You're thinking they've had an outstanding game, taking on players, through board, all the tricks and flicks. It doesn't always have to be that way. It needs to be a professional performance and just doing what you are there to do. And each man did it yesterday.
Yeah, and we've called on this all season, haven't we, to show this kind of professionalism in games, this grit, this solidity at the back. I mean, Romero and Van der Ven, oh my God, what displays that they have. And I was full of, I was criticising Cuti Romero so much over the weekend. I was saying he can't wear the captain's armband again. Embarrassing display. It's a disgrace what he showed on the weekend, and it was, like, don't get me wrong, it was, but last night was worlds apart from that performance. And we were saying in the build up to the game, like, we could really see a performance like that from Cuti Romero with what's on the line. And these 2 guys in particular, Van der Ven, that challenge from Van der Ven, that challenge from Van der Ven in the first half was pretty much a challenge that pretty much won us the game. Like, it went some way to, not won us the game, but it went some way to doing that, because that was a certain goal for Frankfurt.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to look at it. I watched it again this morning, and it's not even just how vital that was. If he had got that wrong and given away a penalty, we were all disputing yesterday, should the goalkeeper have been sent off? There is a good chance if that tackle had gone wrong, it would have been a penalty and probably a red card for Mickey Van der Ven, and we're down to 10 men. The timing of that tackle, to be able to make up the ground we know all about, his pace, to make it and to get it spot on the money. And then we thought at one moment he might have taken Vicario out, but thank God he hadn't. It was just a sensational challenge.
It really was. And we looked at the lineup as they came out yesterday, and we were kind of questioning no Kulusevski in the team, maybe the front three, but I think Brennan Johnson had his value yesterday. He provided some good moments for us. Matisse Tell, I think he put in a really good performance yesterday. He showed that he would bang up for it from minute one, chasing down everything, providing a bit of quality. That effort that he had for about 25 yards out forced a really good save from the keeper. And I felt like out of the front three, I thought Dom Solanke was causing problems, but in terms of causing their defense problems, looking to score a goal, I thought maybe Matisse Tell was probably more dangerous of the front three.
Before I get to Tell, Johnson, yep, he needs to do more, but he was fighting for the team. Obviously, that was a great delivery for Tell's miss-hit. Solanke, again, I'm a big fan of his, but again, the two main things apart from the penalty I remember him doing is winning that ball and then clustering into it. He was a handful away from the penalty area where we needed to be more ruthless. We needed to be there more often. But Tell, the last two games, obviously we saw Wolves live. I have been very, very impressed with him. Needs to do a bit more and keep up with this, but he seems to be thriving in this left wing position. And I also think he is getting a very good relationship with the improving Destiny Udogie.
Oh, mate.
They look a lot more together and making space for each other as what we've seen with Sun and Destiny. There may be something with those two together.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I thought there was maybe something with Spence and Tell, but I think with these performances from Destiny, you got to say, as good as Spence has been since he's come in, these two performances from Destiny is really seeing Destiny back to its best. And what options that you've got with Porro, Destiny, Spence, three top fullbacks at the club, all performing very, very well. And that's what you want to see. So it kind of like when you have these kind of players and you chop and change, we can all criticize it or ever, but the reality is the quality don't change at all. When you're swapping from Spence and Udogie. Maybe Udogie's performances in the last two games against Frankfurt has probably been better than what we've seen from Spence in the last 2 or 3 games.
I think we're getting to see shades of Destiny that we saw in the first 10 games, or in the first, when he got his contract before the injury, where he was just flying and he was powerful. He's taking men on. He looked courageous. He was here, there and everywhere. And maybe Tell's movement is giving him that freedom to exploit spaces, to be there, taking nothing away from Sun, but there just seems to... Destiny and Sun seem to eat each other's space up. I've been very impressed with Tell and Destiny together, and Destiny is looking like gradually he's getting back to what we signed him with.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree more. Just the way that he was just so defensively sound, those bursting run forwards as well, and he's just a bit of a bulldozer and just bulldozes you down, and who's providing for us up and down the pitch. Another player who's really kind of stepped up his game massively over these 2 legs is Rodrigo Bentancur. I've criticised Bentancur a lot this season, particularly in the big games, right? The Villas, the Liverpools, and the Cups, and criticise him massively. But in this competition, when it's really mattered, he's really stepped up for us. And I think we can all commend the back four and how well they played Romero and Van de Ven, but that shield in front of them with Bentancur and Bergvall. But I thought particularly Bentancur in this game, oh my days, in the first leg and the second leg, I don't think anything got past Bentancur pretty much over the course of both legs.
Yeah, I mean, the first leg he was great, a huge aerial threat in the second half in the first leg. This one, he was everywhere. First half, I think Bergvall, I think they swapped. First half was Bentancur, second half was Bergvall. Bentancur was everywhere. And do you know what? I don't even know. I think it may have had a huge impact as well because Romero and Van de Ven stayed where they were. So weren't everyone darting off, so they had to put out so many fires. He could just concentrate in the middle of the park and be where he had to be. But it was another very dominant performance from Rodrigo Bentancur. And I think Lucas Bergvall in the second half as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've noticed that a bit with Bergvall, how he kind of grows into games, and then in the second half he always seems to end the game strong, and then his second half is usually for some reason always better than what his first half. I'm not saying his first halves are bad. I'm just saying he just keeps growing and growing and growing in game. What a player we have on our hands with Lucas Bergvall, man. We all look back at the Galatasaray game, right, and being like, oh, maybe in these kind of circumstances, intense atmosphere, he didn't play well that game, and maybe we're saying, oh, he's a young player, can't really handle that kind of occasion. But I mean, it was just as intense last night than it was in Galatasaray, in a much more meaningful game as well. and he thrived under those conditions. And I've been saying with Lucas Bergvall, after that Galatasaray game, it seems as though that nothing has fazed him. No sort of condition, no sort of match. No matter how big or small the match is, he always performs.
Well, you've got to remember, first of all, he made a big mistake at Wolves. That would have been on his mind, but Vicario gave him the heads up. But another thing I just remembered, which shows me another thing of the development of Bergvall, is we went into this game knowing that if he picked up a yellow card, he's out of the first leg of the semi-final. And we've all been saying he picks up needless yellow cards and they're going to cost us. And he had to have that presence of mind all game not to do anything stupid. And he didn't. He scot-free. He'll be free for the semi-final. So maybe that's him learning about his discipline as well, because he has got that bit in him, hasn't he, where he picks up a needless yellow. But he's growing in stature with every game, like you were just saying.
I feel like in these big games, the really high-profile games, in the latter stages of the cup or in a derby or whatever it may be, I feel like he turns a much more professional display, and it's unbelievable to see from a kid of his age to show that kind of maturity in such a big game. I mean, I'm just blown away every time I watch him play.
we do have a real player on our hand there. We have to, obviously, I hope he gets a new contract in the summer. I'm sure Spurs will look at some of the youngsters.
They'll definitely give him a new
contract. And he's one that has to be expressed and get done and sorted, because he deserves one. Like you said, I think we do have an incredible talent there. The way he has progressed in this second half of the season, he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't look phased. I love it when he gets the ball. He's always scanning around the pitch to see where the pass is. He just keeps seizing to amaze, and he is impressing me with every passing game. And he just seems that the confidence is growing and growing with him, doesn't it?
It really is. And it's a joy to behold, because I think it's been a while since we've seen a player kind of come to us at that age and just get to this level so quickly. Yep. I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen it. Have we ever seen a player of 18 years of age just grow in a season, in his first season here, in this short of space of time, to be this important for us? Because everyone looks back at like Gareth Bale, but he was like a bit of more of a slow burner. I mean, to be fair, Gareth Bale, when he first came in, he scored that free kick straight away against Arsenal. He looked really good in that Fulham game. I think, was the Fulham game his debut, Gareth Bale?
I think it may have been.
And he looked really good kind of then, but then he got injured, and then the curse and all that.
Free kick in North London derby.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So the free kick, but he wasn't kind of as integral to the team as like Bergvall is right now.
There's one player, when you said this, that immediately comes to my mind, and it will be go. Nick Barmby had this kind of introduction when he first burst on the scene. Nick Barmby, that first season, was untouchable and really contributed with Teddy Sheringham, Anderson, whatever. So if I was to think of one, you could say Kane as well when he came, but he had a million.
Well, people are saying Dele Alli. Maybe
that's a good. Dele Alli was in his 20s. What was he when we signed him? When he actually came, was he just 20 or?
I can't. Or was he was 19 or something?
He might have been. There you go. So I'd say Dele Alli. If I was to go, the first person that came to my head immediately was Nick Barmby.
I think Dele Alli and Bergvall, in terms of bursting onto the scene, I think is very similar in terms of how important they straight away came to the team.
Same position, midfield.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's a good comparison there, Dele Alli, I thought. But, I mean, you could just tell, like, all the frustrations over the past couple of months from the fans, from the players, from the manager, at the final whistle, it all just came out, didn't it? And you just saw how much it meant to everyone. I mean, all Spurs fans that we were watching it with, you saw how much it meant to them. You saw the scenes come out the away end last night. You saw the players, how much it meant for them. And it just felt like last night, just like we could breathe again, you know what I mean? Because it's been suffocating, what we've had to go through all season pretty much. It's been suffocating how bad it's been and how toxic it's been. And, we don't want to sit here and criticize the team and get angry and talk about all the negativity week in, week out. But it's like, what else can you do? And that's what you're seeing, right? But with last night, it was the first bit of proper positivity that we've had in so long. And it was such a big moment. Such a big moment.
It was massive. If you look at it, this wasn't Ange's ball, so to speak, or the offensive attacking play. It was more of a Jose or Conte performance. How they were set up, how they played, how they were disciplined, how they were just determined not to lose. We all hear that saying, isn't it? If you're not going to win, just don't lose. They went out and put on a performance that wasn't typical of an Ange Postecoglou team, which goes to show that when we do play this way, or when we do need to grind out a performance, when we do need to be solid, Tottenham Hotspur can do it. And we went to a place, we've spoken this season, where we've gone to Rangers and Galatasaray. Two very, very intimidating stadiums, two very, very hostile stadiums, and the performances haven't been there because we have gone all guns blazing. This was a very, very big test at a very, very hostile ground, and we passed it with flying colours.
Yeah, and over both legs, we're the better team over both legs, I thought, by far. In the first game, it could have potentially been out of sight. We could have gone to Frankfurt and pretty much with the game won already. But to go to Frankfurt with the game still at the balance at 1-1, to keep a clean sheet there in those kind of conditions, I thought is unbelievable. I saw a stat, I can't remember the amount of time, but I think Frankfurt have scored at home for God knows how long. I think it's... Do you know what the stat is?
No, I did hear it was a ridiculous
hell of a long amount of time. Like, Frankfurt have always scored at home. We know that they're a very good home side. We know that they've got one of the best atmospheres, potentially even in Europe. And we've gone there, we've shut them up, and we've booked our place in the semi-final against Bodo Glimt. It's
I think it might have been 24 last Europa League games, something stupid like that. But what we've got to remember as well, the final 10 minutes, which felt like half an hour, they had a few chances, and thankfully they didn't take it. There was some great defending in there. There was some great blocks from Bergvall, Romero, Van der Ven, Bentancur. When Danso came on, made some... I mean, let's talk about it. He actually went to about 5.
He did. Danso was vital to us when he came on. I thought it was really good game management from Ange yesterday. And when Danso came on, just everything that came his way was just going back out the box, back out the box, back out the box. I mean, the only player from Frankfurt that seemed to really trouble us was Christensen. He was getting in all sorts of spaces in latter stages of the game on their right-hand side, had a couple of chances himself. But Hugo Ekitike, who did cause us problems in the first leg, scored that brilliant goal, had another chance later on in that first half. He had nothing all game. Like, the ball kept coming down to him, right? And he kept doing this wonderful first touch. Wonderful. It happened like 3 or 4 times. And every single time he did that, Romero was on him, Van der Ven was on him, no space whatsoever to work. And you could see, like, as the game was wearing on, the frustration, it just seemed to boil over, and you saw like a few little pockets of fights come out on the pitch. And I think that was all born out of the frustration that Frankfurt were getting, because I thought they thought that it was going to be a bit of an easier run for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's one Etike chance that you missed when you went to the bathroom as well, when literally his first time he made some space in the edge area, probably a little bit closer than where Tell was, and he had a very, very good shot that was definitely goal bound, and Lucas Bergvall just came flying out of nowhere and stopped it. But he was getting very frustrated, wasn't he? His touch was Berbatov-esque kind of first touch, wasn't it? It was just pulling things down from the air. But he was getting more and more frustrated. And like we said, it was just that grit and discipline from Tottenham Hotspur that got us through.
And you know what? However angry, right, we've all been with Spurs over the last couple of months, right? Last night was a night that just made you all fall in love again. All fall in love. Just as you think you're out, they drag you back in.
Correct.
Tottenham Hotspur. And it was just like unbelievable, man. It was unbelievable. I'm so proud of each and every player on that pitch. I just really am. Not just them, but the manager as well. Everyone involved last night have got to be puffing out their chests and head held up high today, because last night was it was just unbelievable. European semi-final.
Exactly. Let's just say
European semi-final.
Let's just say there's a lot of people flying home from Germany with smiles on their faces today. And let's face it, a lot of us may have thought that may have been the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking into the semi-final now, like, if I would have told you at the beginning of the season Spurs will be in the Europa League semi-final against Bodo Glimt, you would have snatched my hand against anyone. But Bodo, like, we got to be massive favourites for that tie.
We have to. And we were saying before how crazy this week of European football's been, and we've been one of the we haven't been the butt of all jokes. We haven't been the razzmatazz and excitement. We've just gone and got the job done. But like I said, if the way it's all opened up, do you remember when England went to Russia and were making their march, and all the teams, everything worked. Let's just hope we go one step further than England did in that World Cup. But yeah, if you said Bodo Glimt, who I will be honest, didn't know much about until this season, I would have snapped your arm off.
Yeah, but I do think we got to err on the side of caution a lot with Bodo Glimt, because they are a very good side. They are a very good
Norwegians
side.
messaged me.
They beat Porto this season. They've beaten Roma this season. They've just knocked out Lazio in the quarterfinals.
Oh, they did the Rome double.
Yeah, they've done the Rome double in the Europa League this season. They are a very good side. They attack with ferocity. They're such an interesting team, Bodo Glimt, because 5 years ago they were a nothing team, you know, up and down the leagues in Norway, relegated, promoted, won a few cups here and there. I think the highest they'd ever finished in the Norwegian league 5 years ago was second, and that happened like twice in their history or something. And now, in the last 5 years, they've won 4 Norwegian titles in the last 5 years. So, I mean, they've really grown into an unbelievable club. And, you know, I've read a bit about them, and apparently they're just unbelievably run. And where they're based in Norway, I've just been trying to get travel out there for the last 24 hours, right? They're based in the Arctic Circle, right in the north of Norway. From Oslo, it's a 19-hour drive to Bodo Glimt. It's like an hour flight, but it's really hard to get to. It's an 8,000-seater stadium, so it's going to be probably about 800 Spurs fans out there. And, it's just going to be a bit crazy.
I didn't even
the
know.
Arctic Circle, so that means in June onwards, it's 24 hours sunlight.
Yep.
It's madness.
Yep. I didn't even know Norway was like, when you said a 19-hour drive, it sounded like something you'd hear back in Canada.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that the drive from Oslo would be so extensive. But yeah, you have been on the mission trying to get the flights, and let's hope you get them. Yeah.
But look, just before we end the match review, let's talk a bit about Ange Postecoglou then, because with Ange, we've all, you know, Ange out. We've given him massive criticism. So when you give him massive criticism, we've got to sit here and give him the praise when he deserves it. And I think he deserves a lot of praise for last night, because we're all saying, oh, we can't get this team up. But also, on the flip side of that, we're saying, does he really need to get the team up for a game of this magnitude? The players, I mean, the team talk should have done itself for yesterday. But the reality is, I thought he managed the game really well. I think he picked the team to perfection, and just the fighting spirit of the team yesterday was just, everything was perfect yesterday, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe we could have created a few more and scored a few more goals, but the grit that he showed, the tactics that he implemented, I think really went a long way to helping us secure that semi-final spot.
Well, without that, I mean, if you look at it, I can't remember a Spurs manager going into a game where the media was all about this. I'm talking about fan channels, social media, the mainstream media, YouTube, like you name it, all across the world. Everyone was focusing on Ange and 17 losses and performances. Then you look at his press conferences and things he's been saying, and that's been stoked and more petrol put on the fire the way it's been interpreted. And going into this game, he pretty much knew it's all or nothing, win or bust. And to get that performance from the team, like you said, we've always said, if you're big enough to criticise, man enough to praise, he got it spot on yesterday. There is no getting away from it. I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying maybe the players got together and said, right, this is the game of games. We need to stand up and do this for us. We need to do... Maybe that is the case. Maybe it is the case. But Ange Postecoglou deserves a lot of praise for yesterday's performance. He does deserve a lot of praise, and he's still on for the second season win. Whether he gets it, we'll see.
We're getting it, man. We're going all the way this year. I'm telling you, I am full of belief after last night. I'm full of belief last night. I'm telling you, Spurs are going all the way this year. I'm telling you now.
Well, let's hope so.
I'm telling you now. Clip this up. Whoever's watching this, clip this up right now, because Spurs are going all the way in the Europa League. Our name's on the trophy. It's written in the stars.
I'll take it.
I'm telling you
I
now.
will take it.
I'm telling you now, my complete mentality on this trophy is a flipped 180 in these last 24 hours. And I am telling you guys now, Spurs are going all the way.
Let's do it.
All the way.
Let's do it.
It's not going to be easy, because we got to get past Bodo Glimt. I think we'll get past Bodo Glimt, but I think it'll be tough. And then in the final will be Manchester United or Athletic Club Bilbao. It's most likely going to be Bilbao, let's be honest. I can't believe how Manchester United got through last night, to be honest. But Bilbao, playing Bilbao in Bilbao will be nuts.
Well, you look at this. I was talking to one of my mates about this morning.
Let's not talk about the final just yet. Let's get past the semi-final first.
That might be smart thinking.
But yeah, look, unbelievable last night. I am on cloud bloody number 9, and Spurs are in a semi-final. And what more can I say?
No, but listen, Martin Yole watching Spurs. A very, very professional performance in the semi-finals. Happy days. Happy Easter, everyone. Let's have an enjoyable weekend and wait till Monday.
Absolutely. So that's it.